woods, bicycle, mountain bike, Shimano 7-speed, cat-eye, camera mount, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-speed, yeah. Man, I gotta get out of the house. Okay, so trying to somehow manage my bike out the door here without banging up the furniture or the walls. See if I can continue. Hey folks, it's Rob. So this is my first bicycle ride in Taipei City. I bought the bike and I altered the stem and the seat posts and the tires to make it fit me. Took a lot of adjusting and finally I got it right. Anyways, this is an old dream that had died many years ago. Back in the 1990s, early 90s. Actually even before then, late 80s, I wanted to ride my bicycle around Taiwan, and at the time I was a bicycle nuthead. I was crazy about everything and anything to do with bicycles, and I've had quite a few bicycles. I've had I've had over 30, maybe 40 bicycles, and I've owned it all. I've had recumbents, I've had fixed gear track bikes, I've had road bikes, I've had funny bikes where the rear wheel is larger than the front. I've had mountain bikes galore. I've had city bikes. I've had BMXs. Haven't owned a tricycle, but I mean, I haven't owned a unicycle. I got close to it, but never got around to it. Anyways, one of my dreams was to go around the island of Taiwan, right along the coastline. And from what I heard, it takes about a week. I think it's a good 500 miles, or 850 to 900 kilometers, something like that. So if you put in about 100 miles a day, you could go around Taiwan. And that was a dream that I once had. And you know, the funny thing was, when I told people that I wanted to do it, everybody, all my family gave me such a hard time. They said, you know what, you're insane. This is stupid. It's nuts. You know how dangerous it is? Don't be silly. You know, you shouldn't be thinking like that. Well, this was back in the late 80s, early 90s. And 20 years later, Taiwan has transformed into like a real trendy bicycling hobby. Bicycling has become a trendy hobby for just about everybody, from the young teens to folks, you know, retirees. So And it turns out a lot of people had ridden and gone around Taiwan. So this phenomena has occurred just in recent times, like in the past 4 or 5 years, that people have ridden around Taiwan, circumnavigated along the coastline. And you know, I had this idea for such a long time, and here I've heard a lot of people have done it now. So, you know, hey, I'm not that crazy, you know. There's a lot of other people that have done it, and it's not that big of a deal. Anyways, back to what I was saying. You know, I noticed there's a lot of things that I wanted to do, and a lot of people had dismissed it as being outrageous and impossible, and I had dreamed of doing it, but it never occurred. Well, it's a shame that it took 20 years for other people to accept it as a real possibility, something that wasn't outlandish and ridiculous, something that has actually become commonplace. So I started thinking about other things that I felt was maybe ahead of my time, and sure enough, I mean, when back in the U.S., I mean, I had a track bike back in the 90s. Early 90s. I had a track bike, and then I had a vintage track bike from like the 1960s or 70s. It was a fixed gear track bike. And then later on, I built a Bossel track bike, which was really hot stuff. That was in the that was in 2000 actually, 2000, 2001. And that was before fixed gear track bikes became really, really fashionable in the US. I mean, I think it was 2007, 2008, where track bikes like really took a scene, and everybody just started converting their bikes into fixed gear bikes. Anyway, long and short of it is, yeah, there's a lot of things that I wanted to try, and I started noticing that, I don't know what it is, but I think I'm a little ahead of my time. And I find that it doesn't catch on until a little later. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say I'm leading edge. I would just say that I get into things that I like, and it ends up being real trendy. I don't know, as far as hobbies go. And I remember like big watches. I liked big watches, like big giant watches, for a while. And before, it was like so hard to find big watches, like big diameter, big face wristwatches. And then now everybody's got them. Like, and even those designer $50 watches, or fossils, or whatever you call those cheap no name brand watches, even those are like big diameter fashion watches, you could say. All the way from the cheap ones to the expensive ones, they started. There's like a revival in big diameter, big face watches. Anyways, that's my little spiel. I hope you liked the bicycle journey through Taipei. This is my first ride. It's a rat race, isn't it?